The wedding photos looked perfect. Michael Harrison, 52, stood beaming next to his radiant young bride. She told him she was 20, fresh-faced, innocent, everything his decade-long marriage wasn't. 1 week later, police found him dead in their honeymoon suite. The autopsy revealed poison. But the woman in custody? She wasn't 20, she was 45, and this wasn't her first husband to die. How did a man throw away everything for a lie that would cost him his life?
Dark Stories. True crime is your home for chilling crimes, unsolved mysteries, and the darkest secrets the world has to offer. We uncover shocking cases, disturbing truths, and mysterious disappearances. Hit subscribe and join us.
Meet Michael Harrison, successful pharmaceutical sales executive, married to Linda for 11 years, 2 teenage kids, upper-middle-class life in suburban Connecticut. But Michael was restless. The spark had died. The routine suffocated him. Every morning felt the same: coffee, small talk, silence. Then came the Instagram message, a profile picture of a stunning young woman. Her name was Sophia Blake. Age listed, 20. She commented on one of his posts about classic cars. The conversation started innocently, but something about her attention made Michael feel alive again. What Michael didn't know was that Sophia Blake had been watching him for months, and he wasn't randomly chosen. The messages became daily, then hourly. Sophia seemed to understand Michael in ways Linda never did. She laughed at his jokes, asked about his dreams, made him feel desired. Within 3 weeks, they met in person. Michael told Linda he had a work conference. The moment he saw Sophia at that hotel bar, he was captivated. She looked exactly like her photos, young, beautiful, attentive. They spent the weekend together. Sophia shared stories about her difficult childhood, her abusive ex-boyfriend, how she'd been working as a freelance photographer, barely making ends meet. Michael felt protective, needed, important. But there were small inconsistencies. Sophia refused to video chat before they met. She had no social media presence beyond that one Instagram account. Her phone was always face down. When Michael asked about her family, she changed the subject quickly. He ignored the red flags. He was already falling. Over the next 2 months, Michael lived a double life. Family man by day, secret lover by night. The guilt ate at him, but Sophia's pull was stronger. She began dropping hints about wanting something real, something permanent. Michael fantasized about starting over, being the man Sophia saw in him rather than the disappointment he felt Linda saw. Then Sophia delivered an ultimatum wrapped in tears. She was pregnant. She needed to know if Michael was serious or if she was just a fantasy. She couldn't raise a child alone, not at her age, not with her past. Michael's world tilted. That night, he told Linda everything. The devastation in her eyes almost broke him. But Sophia's voice echoed in his mind. The promise of new beginnings, youth, passion, purpose. Within a week, Michael moved out. His kids stopped speaking to him. His colleagues whispered. His parents were horrified. But Sophia was there, belly slightly swollen, eyes full of love. Or so he thought. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Michael pushed for a quick wedding. Sophia agreed enthusiastically. Too enthusiastically. The ceremony was small. No family from Sophia's side. She claimed they were estranged. Only 2 of Michael's friends attended. Linda refused to finalize the divorce quickly, so technically Michael was still married. But in his mind, Sophia was his wife now. His future. During the ceremony, Michael noticed something odd. Sophia's hands. They didn't look like a 20-year-old's hands. The skin had a texture, slight age spots. When he mentioned it, she laughed it off. Said she'd worked outdoors a lot, damaged her skin. He believed her because he wanted to. The honeymoon was planned for a remote bed and breakfast in Vermont. Sophia insisted on the location. Said she'd always dreamed of going there. Michael thought it was romantic, intimate, private. What he didn't know was that 2 other men had honeymooned at that exact location with Sophia. and neither of them survived. The first 3 days were blissful. Sophia was attentive, loving, everything Michael imagined married life could be. But small things began unsettling him. Sophia took a phone call in the bathroom with the shower running. When he asked who it was, she said wrong number. She unpacked a large makeup bag and locked it in the bathroom cabinet, said it was a surprise for later. She insisted on making all their meals herself, wouldn't let Michael help, said she wanted to pamper him. On the fourth night, Michael woke to find Sophia going through his wallet. When confronted, she claimed she was looking for a receipt to expense something. The excuse didn't make sense. That same night, Michael felt nauseous after dinner. Sophia said it was probably the rich food. She gave him antacids, made him tea, tucked him into bed. But the sickness got worse. By day 5, Michael could barely stand. Sophia called the front desk, panicked, said her husband needed a doctor, but when the paramedics arrived, it was already too late. Michael Harrison was pronounced dead at 3:47 a.m. Initial assumption, heart attack. He was 52. Stressful life changes. It happened. But the attending physician noticed something. Discoloration around Michael's lips. An odd smell. He ordered a full toxicology screen. Sophia played the devastated widow perfectly, sobbing, inconsolable. She told police they'd just gotten married, that Michael was the love of her life, that she couldn't believe he was gone. Officers felt sympathetic until they started asking routine questions. Where was Sophia from originally? She gave vague answers. What was her maiden name? She hesitated. Could they contact her family? She said she had none. Then came the question that changed everything. How old are you, Mrs. Harrison? 20, she whispered. The officer looked at her carefully, asked for ID. Sophia's face shifted. Just for a moment. Panic flickered across her features. She claimed her purse was in the car. When she went to retrieve it, she didn't come back. Sophia Blake ran. Hotel staff found the room empty except for Michael's belongings. Sophia's things were gone, including that locked makeup bag. Police issued a bolo, but they had no real identifying information. The Instagram account was deactivated. The phone number was a burner. The credit cards she'd used were in Michael's name. Then the toxicology report came back. Antifreeze poisoning, ethylene glycol, slow-acting, painful, deliberate. This wasn't a sudden passion crime. This was premeditated murder. Detectives began digging into Sophia Blake's identity. The name returned no results. No birth certificate, no social security number, no employment history. It was an alias. But then, everything changed. A detective noticed something in the wedding photos. A small tattoo on Sophia's wrist. Partially covered by makeup but visible in one shot. They ran it through a database and got a hit. The tattoo matched a woman named Christine Valdez, age 45, wanted in connection with 2 other suspicious deaths. Christine Valdez wasn't just a killer. She was a professional. A black widow who'd perfected her craft over a decade. Her first known victim was her actual husband. Married when she was 32. He died 6 months later, ruled accidental, life insurance payout. The second was a wealthy widower she met online. He was 58. She told him she was 28. They married quickly. He died of apparent food poisoning 3 weeks later. She disappeared with $200,000 from his accounts. The third was a divorced father of 3. She told him she was 25, pregnant with his child. He left his family. They honeymooned in Vermont. He died of acute ethylene glycol toxicity. She vanished. Local police had suspected foul play, but couldn't find her. Michael Harrison was victim number 4. Detectives realized Christine had a type. Middle-aged men, unhappy marriages, vulnerable, desperate for validation. She found them on social media, studied their lives, created elaborate personas, made them fall in love, married them quickly, killed them slowly, then disappeared with whatever money she could access. But the truth was darker than anyone expected. A nationwide manhunt began. Christine's face was everywhere. Age-progressed photos, warnings. But she'd done this before. She knew how to disappear. Investigators interviewed Michael's devastated family. Linda, his wife, was shattered, not just by his death, but by how he died. Betrayed, poisoned, fooled. Michael's teenage daughter found her father's phone. Messages between him and Christine. Saved photos. Love letters. The fantasy Christine had sold him. Reading them broke her heart. How could he fall for such obvious lies? But detectives knew better. Christine was a master manipulator. She exploited loneliness, midlife crisis, male ego. She made men feel seen, desired, young again. And by the time they realized something was wrong, it was too late. Forensic accountants traced financial transactions. Christine had stolen $47,000 from Michael in the 2 months they were together. Small transfers, gift purchases, emergency expenses for her pregnancy. He'd given it willingly. Now police had to find her before she found victim number 5. 3 weeks into the manhunt, a tip came in. A woman matching Christine's description had been spotted at a coffee shop in Portland, Oregon. She was sitting with a man in his 50s, laughing, touching his hand. Police moved carefully. They didn't want to spook her. Undercover officers watched. The man she was with was named David Chen, recently divorced, successful architect. He'd met a woman online named Emma Ross, age 22. They'd been talking for a month. She was everything he'd ever wanted. They were planning to meet in person that weekend. Officers approached David carefully, showed him Christine's real photo. His face went white. "That's Emma," he said. "But she looks different. Older in this photo." Police explained. David felt sick. He'd already bought plane tickets, booked a hotel, told his ex-wife he'd found someone special. Christine had nearly claimed another victim, but this time she didn't know she'd been made. Police planned a sting operation. David agreed to cooperate. The meeting would go forward. Coffee shop, public place, undercover officers everywhere. When Christine arrived, she looked nothing like her online photos. Heavy makeup, youthful clothing, colored contacts. She'd transformed herself again. David played his part. Nervous excitement. Asked questions. Complimented her. Christine smiled, flirted, touched his arm. Everything was going according to her plan. Then David excused himself to the restroom. The signal. Officers moved in. Christine sensed something wrong. She stood to leave, but it was too late. "Ma'am, we need to ask you some questions." Christine's face changed. The sweet young woman vanished. What replaced her was cold, calculating. She ran, made it 3 blocks before officers tackled her. In her purse, they found fake IDs, antifreeze in a water bottle, a list of names, all men, all lonely, all potential victims, and this next part would change everything. Christine Valdez sat in the interrogation room, silent, defiant. Detectives laid out the evidence: 4 dead husbands, dozens of identities, hundreds of thousands of dollars stolen. She said nothing. They tried different approaches: sympathy, aggression, logic. Christine stared at the wall. Finally, a female detective sat down, asked a simple question: why? For the first time, Christine spoke. "You wouldn't understand. These men, they deserved it. They threw away their families for a fantasy. They were weak, pathetic. I gave them exactly what they wanted. They died happy, didn't they?" The room went cold. Detectives realized they weren't dealing with someone who felt remorse. Christine believed she was punishing men for their weaknesses, that she was justified. When asked about the pregnancy claims, she laughed. "There was never a baby. Men are so easy. Tell them they're virile, that they're giving you a new life. They'll give you anything." She described Michael's death in clinical detail, how long the poison took, how she comforted him as he died, how she cried realistic tears for the paramedics. It was chilling, calculated, evil. Christine Valdez was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder, multiple counts of fraud, identity theft, The trial lasted 6 weeks. Prosecutors painted a picture of a cold-blooded predator who exploited vulnerable men. Defense attorneys tried to argue mental illness, childhood trauma. The jury wasn't convinced. Christine showed no emotion as the verdicts were read. Guilty on all counts. 4 life sentences without parole. Michael's family attended every day of the trial. Linda gave a victim impact statement, described the man Michael was before Christine, the father, the husband, the friend. How Christine didn't just kill Michael. She destroyed their family, shattered their memories. Michael's daughter spoke too. Through tears, she said she'd never forgive Christine, but she'd also never forgive her father for being so blind, for choosing a lie over his family, for dying alone in a honeymoon suite with a stranger. The judge called Christine one of the most dangerous offenders she'd ever sentenced, a predator who weaponized loneliness. Today, Christine Valdez sits in maximum security prison. She's never shown remorse, never apologized. In rare prison interviews, she maintains she did nothing wrong, that the men chose their fates. Investigators believe there may be more victims, men who died under suspicious circumstances, families who never got answers. The case changed how police investigate sudden deaths following whirlwind romances. Red flags are taken more seriously. Background checks are standard. But the question remains, how did 4 intelligent, successful men fall for the same lie? Psychologists say Christine exploited a universal vulnerability, the fear of aging, the desire to feel vital, important, desired. She offered an escape from reality, and when reality crashed back, it was lethal. Michael Harrison's story isn't just about murder. It's about the dangers of fantasy, the price of abandoning everything for a beautiful lie. What do you think really happened in Michael's mind those final moments? Did he realize he'd been fooled? Did he understand the cost of his choices? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If this story affected you, hit that like button. It helps us share these important stories with more people. And subscribe for more deep dives into cases that changed lives forever. Sometimes the deadliest weapon isn't a gun or a knife. Sometimes it's simply telling someone exactly what they want to hear.